Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi was a 13th century Persian poet and Sufi mystic and is regarded as the best-selling poet of the United States. Celebrities in social media extensively and exhaustively quote Rumi's poetry. In the 1980s, his work was printed even in Playboy magazine. But what if I told you the Rumi you're probably familiar with isn't Rumi? Rumi wrote in Persian and his poetry was deeply intertwined with Islam. On the first page of one of his masterpieces, Masnavi, he wrote, "This is the book of the Masnavi, and it is the roots of the roots of the roots of the religion, and it is the explainer of the Quran." But with colonization came translators who stripped Rumi's poetry of Islam and diluted the meaning. This was intentionally done because the Christian Europe wanted the world to believe that only the West had contributions to art, culture, and civilization. This is spiritual colonialism. Sufi literature was then distorted and misrepresented as ecstasy, a classic example of Orientalism. The term Sufism comes from the Arabic word suf, which means wool. The earliest Sufis used to wear rough woolen garments, expressing their rejection of the worldly pleasures that Islam was tilting towards. What Sufism really stands for is love. A Sufi believes that God created us in His image and strives to be united with Him. They don't believe in an intermediate in that relationship. Instead, their pursuit to be one with God manifests as singing, dancing, art, and poetry. If you know Rumi's poetry today, it's likely because of this man, Coleman Barks. He's known for translating and interpreting Rumi's works and has sold 500,000 copies worldwide. But he never studied Islam or Sufism, neither can he read or speak Persian. The story goes that in 1976,
Robert Bly handed me some book of scholarly translations of Rumi by A.J. Arbery. And he says, these poems need to find relief, be released from their cages. I started doing that and just got hooked on it and began doing it every day.
He has made a career out of rewriting the poems based on other English translations. But what he ended up doing was changing Rumi altogether. Rumi wrote his poems with the lyrical rhyme and meter of the Persian verse. Barks, however, ignored this and made them into an American-style free verse. He westernized Rumi to make it more approachable by erasing references of Islam and Quran, that which are central to Rumi's work. The Rumi quotes of today don't present the original text or source. Sayings are often misattributed to him. The University of Tehran has given Barks a doctorate. How can they and the Persian elders be encouraging his quote-unquote translations? For this, we need to look at the region's history. Before the rise of the extreme and radical Islam rule by Ayatollah Khomeini, Persia was one of the most liberal places on earth. Due to political instability and violence in the Iranian Revolution, many left present-day Iran and came with the nostalgia of the Islamic Golden Age. These people then support and stand behind Coleman Barks because they themselves have internalized Islamophobia from the West. This does an enormous disservice to Rumi's legacy. Most importantly, Islam and Muslims all over the world will continue to be feared and misunderstood because life imitates art.